executor of a friend or family's estate can be an honor, but also comes with a lot of obligations. That's why it's important to know what the role entails and consider the responsibilities before agreeing to the role. Joining us now with more on this is Everything Financial CEO Peter Cishecki. Good morning, Peter. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Carrie. Good morning.
So I've never been an executor. It sounds like a lot of work. What exactly are the duties of an executor?
It is too many to list this morning, but I'll give you some of the main ones. They have to look after the will, look after the protection of the person's assets and possessions, pay off debts, manage their investments, and make sure what the person's wishes are in the will are carried forward, like paying out beneficiaries and filing final tax returns. Those are just a few of the many duties. It's an ominous job.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of pressure there to make sure you do a good job. What should people consider before agreeing to take on that role?
Make sure they have all the information. With a lot of financial planners, you can actually do an estate program where the person who's naming you the executor can help you go through their wishes, all their affairs, where everything is in their house. Like there's simple things like knowing the PIN numbers to cards, and if they have a safety deposit box. Here's something silly. Knowing your passwords to cancel your Facebook and Twitter accounts, etc. Emails, and you should put a list together to help out that executor, because it is a full-time job with kind of thankless, obviously, in a lot of cases, unfortunately.
Yeah, it'd be good for someone to have a heads up that they're going to be the executor so they can ask some of those questions instead of it being a surprise when suddenly you have to do it. What if there are disputes around the estate? How do you handle that?
With a lawyer. Here's the unfortunate thing. With many families, and I've been doing this 30 years, with many families where there's 4 or 5 siblings and they all get along, there will be an argument. It always seems to be the case. Someone feels things aren't being done right. And the one way to do it, if you don't want to get a lawyer involved, is just be forthcoming, show everyone the will, say, here's the wishes, I'm carrying out mom or dad's or aunt or uncle's wishes, and I'm just going to follow exactly what it says.
There are co-executors in some cases. Can that get complicated?
It can, but actually in a lot of cases we see that helps, because 2 executors can split the time, split all the involvement, split the duties, because there's so many duties, and they can be there to help each other and answer questions and do the research to make sure they're doing it right. It is a really big job, so 2 co-executors really does help.
All right, and there is a lot of responsibility, as you mentioned. Does an executor get compensated for the work? This is the big question.
They are allowed. In BC, the simple solution is an executor can take up to 5% of the value of the estate for that job. And unfortunately, when children do their parents' estate and their siblings involved, a lot of times there's a lot of pressure on them to take nothing, which is that really fair when they're spending not just hours, days, weeks, and months completing the duties of the executor and not working during some of that time, because it's daytime hours to talk to CRA and talk to the banks and talk to the investment company. So they are allowed to be compensated up to 5% the value of the estate.
Yeah, the time is actually worth something for sure. Okay, Peter Cishecki, good information this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Carrie. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.